Eyes.
Yes.
Eyes.
Mm.
The amount of people that don't know what eyes is, walk them through.
If you don't do eyes, when you're having an alcoholic beverage, you're cursing yourself with 7 years of bad sex.
I must have not done some eyes in my early. Anyway, welcome back, y'all.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the laughs, the shares, the likes.
That's right.
You know, we're still on this hunt for sponsors.
Money.
Funds. We on strike.
That's
Okay. These writers ain't got no job, so now we going in on this podcast
right.
life. Okay.
That's right.
A wrong time to start a podcast, if you ask me. Oh, gosh. We just came back from Uganda. York, first time on the continent.
Time of my life.
Do you want to share a real quick one-liner about your time in Uganda?
Unforgettable.
Oh.
The best trip of my life, truly.
Ah.
Truly. And like, you planned everything. I didn't have to do anything. I showed up and just enjoyed the experience. I'm so grateful. Thank you again.
We loved having you.
It was fantastic.
All my friends love York. Everyone loves York.
I love them.
Yeah, that's gonna be a chapter in my book. Everyone loves York. Are there red flags you heard from my friends and I that you were like, oh, this seems specific to Uganda?
Red flags?
Yeah. Like, you know, how we talked about relationships and stuff.
Y'all don't see how attractive some of your men are.
Indeed. Because York was pointing out some people out. He was like, that fine guy. I was like,
there are some beautiful men there, and y'all be like, I don't see it. I'm like,
this
it's
is
right
how
there.
a certain actor of Ugandan descent is thriving in this Hollywood streets.
Because he also could get it.
And we are like, you look like a Buddha Buddha.
But objectively attractive.
Objectively or subjectively?
I mean, I think you're not as attracted to what you're used to seeing all the time. For me, I was like, there's some fine men.
York shone some light on some of y'all, which brings me to my actual point about, not everyone's red flag is the same.
That's right.
Your red flag is not my red flag.
Ah.
Mine, definitely not yours.
Say it.
And ours, not theirs. Not theirs. And so this is the part of the show where you give us a flagometer so that we're all on the same page.
Yes.
And so for this episode, from a scale of 1 to 10, from a scale of pink to red, hit us.
The pink flag for this week is tuna tartar pink.
Okay, tuna tartar.
Yeah. You know, it's good on chips.
Yes.
It has a light, sort of like salmon-y.
Almost see-through.
Yeah.
So you see an end to this pink flag, okay?
Indeed.
You can see through the floors.
Yes. Walk with me.
I'm with you.
You're at a restaurant with a young man.
Okay.
It's expensive. 5-star.
I love it.
You're having a lovely meal, great conversation. There's laughter. He's giving you the eyes across the table. The bill comes. He doesn't hesitate. You do your little fake. He doesn't even. He said, "No, babe, I got it." He puts his card, the Amex, in the thing. Waitress comes, takes it away, comes back. He signs, and he gets up to go. On your way out, following him, you look down at the bill and realize that he has not left a tip.
Ooh.
Is this a pink flag for you? For me,
it's heading to red.
It's heading to red, but it's pink because it's only happened this one time, and
the thing is with me, I'm gonna say something. As you know, I'm gonna make it awkward. I'm gonna be like, "Oh, you forgot to tip." I don't care. I'm gonna say, or I'm gonna make it even worse and be like, "Oh, would you like me to leave the tip?" So that in that case, you're not like, "Oh, no, I have no problem leaving the tip." I just don't think we need to be going to a 5-star restaurant without tipping. And like, you've triggered me because this is my thing. This is my thing. I feel like, as someone who was in the service industry for years.
Come on.
Okay. Y'all need to be tipping.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And York knows this bubbles me up. But like legit, I would probably, that's heading to red for me. Because it says to me, either A, you don't understand how the service industry works. Now, speaking of cultural differences,
Yes.
as you saw back home, not a big tipping culture. America is not just a tipping culture, but the people rely on the tip.
Exactly.
And so I would factor that in. I'd be like if I went on a date with someone from home in America, I'd be like, I just assume, oh, you don't get that. But
he's American. In this
this man is
scenario,
American?
he's American. So he knows.
It's a pink flag for me.
To me, it's like it just reads as disrespectful and cheap.
And what it reads to me is you're treating me because you want something from me. Okay, you took me to a 5-star restaurant because you want to fuck me or have a relationship with me at best case scenario. But it's not, but the way, you know how grandmas say, watch how he treats the waiter? That extends right to the tip.
That is, you know what?
That extends to the tip.
I'm
It's
with
not
you.
just about please and thank you, because I can promise you in the service industry, if you didn't say please or thank you, but let me a tip, I'd be grateful. Okay? I don't need your fucking please and thank you. Leave me with a tip.
We should also give some context. Kimmy and I both, in the lean times of our careers, drove for Lyft. I have worked for several restaurants as a server and or food runner.
Yes.
So,
Which brings me to another red flag segue. York used to work for a restaurant, and there was once a guy who ghosted me. And
I don't know where this
this
is
is
going.
my red flag.
Okay.
There was once a guy who went ghost on me. And I thought we did have a deep connection. So
Oh,
I
yes.
thought, did we have a deep connection?
Uh-huh.
I thought he was dead. Okay? It's like we were talking at 2 p.m. and he said, let me give you a call back. And I never heard back from him. And so I was like, York, I think this guy is dead. So what did York do from ABC Kitchen? Do tell.
Listen, I was working as a reservationist. So I got on the reservation line.
Yeah.
And I asked Kimmy for the nigga's number.
Yeah? He said, give me the number.
And I called him. I said, hello, this is ABC Kitchen calling to confirm your reservation at 2 o'clock. He said, I don't have a reservation. I said, oh, sorry, must be our mistake. Thanks so much. Bye. Texted Kimmy. He's alive.
And after that, when York said he's alive, I said, say less. Block. So if you never heard from me, that's why. That ABC Kitchen shouldn't have answered.
Listen, company resources
Yes.
put to good use.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I was in Uganda. I was like, oh, bet. Done. You know who didn't have a reservation here either? You.
What a time.
Anyway, back
Anyway,
to
pink
okay.
flag.
So pink flag, good pink flag.
The red flag is the beautiful red road of Uganda. Listen,
The red dust.
the red dust is just it's God Himself created man from this dust.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, and
Like every red flag is gorgeous.
it's deceptive. So you meet this beautiful black man at an event.
Okay.
He's 35.
Oh,
He got a
okay.
good job.
Okay.
Yeah. He asks you out. You exchange numbers. Now you find him on social media, and you look through his Instagram, and none of his pictures have black people in them.
Oof. Ooh.
So yeah, you're like, okay,
But at the event, who was he with?
white people. But he was the black one there, and y'all connected because you're black.
Okay. And we're in LA. Where are their options?
You're here. Yes.
Okay.
So you go on the date,
Okay.
and you find out on the date that you are the first black woman he's ever gone on a date with.
No. Immediately, no. I don't care what race you are. I do not want to be your first. No.
That's
No.
that's a red flag for you.
Not even a flag. It's just construction over. I'm
But-
done. No, my thing is, I don't want to be your first black woman, period. And I'm not even talking about lover. I'm talking about friend. You know, I just, because the thing is, I already know I'm in for explanation galore,
No, he's black.
but he's never dated a black woman?
Mm-hmm.
How many girlfriends has he had?
Let's say since college.
Because he's 35.
Yeah, since college, I'd say like 4 or 5.
And none of them have been black. Have any of them been of color?
1.
No. No, I'm especially in LA. I'm very sensitive to self-hating black men.
Okay.
Yeah, and to me, it gives self-hating black man. It gives Kwame from Love Is Blind.
Oh, well.
Because I'm not interested in that. I'm just like, no. Okay. Red flag.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, that's definitely a red flag for me. I don't have that in me.
Oof, that was triggering. Let me take a sip of my water. Okay, this is the part where I give a red flag. This story is very short. I actually have 2. One is very short. Which one do you want first? Should I do the first one that's less short and then?
Yeah.
Okay, the less short version is, met this guy. We seem to connect on very many levels. Artiste, okay?
Okay.
Y'all don't know I'm a painter.
Mm-hmm.
He also painted, okay? Oh. All right. And speaking of cultural, like, I tend to like people who have like either lived in multiple countries, whether it's like Uganda and America or America and South Africa. I like people who understand there's more than one way of thinking.
Larger worldview.
Yeah. America and Canada doesn't count to me. But like.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Or like you've lived in New York. To me, New York counts because I feel like New York, you interact with a lot of cultures.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you get what I'm saying.
I do. Yeah.
Anyway, this particular human was from an African country and then came to America. So it mirrored a lot of my experiences. And so obviously there was like a lot of familiarity.
Yeah.
Conversation was great. Started FaceTiming. Great.
Hey.
He's like, oh, let's go on a painting date, which I love a creative date.
That's
you
very
know,
cute.
Don't take me to Olive Garden as we discussed, but it was so cute. He was like, come to my studio, we'll paint. And I was like, oh yeah, because I have an event to go to. He's like, me too. Turns out we were going to the same event.
Okay.
So it was like, okay.
Yeah.
We know the same people.
Yeah.
All right. It was great date. Okay, so we're at the studio painting. Boo, 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 boo. Go to the event. Very cute. I love a little mixer where like public, private. Come back. And then I realize he lives upstairs of the studio. But when I say upstairs, I mean, it's just a makeshift. like when I say upstairs, York, really just build something above us in this space right now.
So it's like a loft?
It was a man-made loft.
Oh, wait, so it's a bunk bed.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Okay. So we come back and I'm just like, he's like, yeah, this is my laptop. And I'm like, wait. This is where you live.
Oh, so you didn't know that the studio where you painted was also where he dwells.
Because nobody dwells there. It's like downtown. It's like a place of shops. There's a shoe shop next door.
Okay.
But he dwells there.
So he's living in his work studio.
100%.
Okay.
Okay, do I continue? And then I was like, wait. So he's like, yeah, okay, he has a daughter, which I'm okay with. That's not a red flag for me personally. I understand if it's a red flag for you. But then he also was like, yeah, on days I'm not here, I stay at my daughter's mom's place.
I'm sorry.
There you go. You tell me.
Where does that fall?
Because it's on multiple levels. First of all, nigga, you living near Foot Locker?
It feels quarter to unhoused to me. Which there's nothing. Listen, if you're choosing to be
unhoused, tell me.
Right.
Yeah, tell me. Let's have a conversation about that. But
know ahead of
don't
time.
invite me about let's have a painting date. First of all, I don't go to niggas' homes on the first date, and you invited me to your home in tricks. I thought I was going. I thought first of all, if you told me you lived there, I wouldn't be there. I wouldn't have gone.
You thought it was a separate space.
I thought it was your working area.
And you arrived and found a bunk bed.
Look, I work at home. I have 2 bedrooms. One of the rooms is an office. I'm not saying you can't work where you live, but I would never tell someone come hang out in my office. It just, nah. And then he was like, but also, my apartment is very sectioned. My office is very sectioned off.
Yeah.
This was more studio.
Okay.
And a bed.
I have a random question. Was there a bathroom in the
studio?
No.
Okay, there was a bathroom, but there was no shower.
Okay, so he's doing whole baths in the sink.
I'm glad you asked, because that was what my next question was. I was like, where do you shower? You know me. I'm like, where do you shower? He's like, that's when I found out he goes to his daughter's, I'm adding too many details. He goes to his child's mother. Uh-huh. And then sometimes he goes to his friend.
This is, okay.
Can I just also add something? I know I'm an artist, but please don't get it twisted. I am not the artista, okay? I'm not here for this suffering artist life. Like, there's some people who understand, we are going to be grungy and not shower for 3 months. Not me. Not me. I like to shower. I like nice sheets. I like to sleep. Uh-huh. No, I'm not that chick.
Yeah. For me, I think what you're saying is right. It's the honesty about what the situation is. He does sound quarter to unhoused.
Yeah.
And I think he needs to let you know that that's what's going on. I'm just imagining you walking into the studio and seeing this bunk bed. But the real...
I didn't. It was hidden.
But hidden how?
Because it was up and there was a curtain, it was photography, what. So it was hidden.
Wait.
So I didn't see it.
So there's floor to ceiling curtains and he's got the bunk bed behind the curtain?
Yeah, pretty much. Because the studio, think about those things those things you roll down.
Roll down?
Like backdrops.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I don't know what's
behind the backdrop?
Pretty much, yes.
Wow.
Yes. And then there was a curtain. So I'm just thinking it's the backdrop.
I have to give him points for creativity because that's a little
now,
impressive.
Because I don't like to be too bougie, I did chill in the bunk bed. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I'm admitting it. So then he's like, oh, we're going to have to be quiet now. And I was like, quiet? He's like, I have some clients coming through. So you also rented out the studio for photography.
Kimmy.
So now we whispering
So you're supposed to hide in the bunk bed while the people
behind the curtain.
While other people come into
the
home studio.
The studio
to take pictures.
Yes, pretty much. Yes, and I got a splinter climbing down. I think this is more a reflection on me than him.
No,
anyway.
I for me, this is a red flag on multiple levels.
Okay, do go through it. Break it down.
I like a separation of home and career.
But we both have...
No. But we have homes to separate our home and our career. You see what I'm saying?
I see.
He's sleeping in his career.
I got it. The career is with us.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's separate. There are separate room. If there is a separate room in my home, for my career, sure.
Yeah.
But the idea that I'm coming to where you paint and sleeping in your bunk bed, how are we supposed to do?
It was. Let me tell you the other thing about.
You don't have to say.
People will overcompensate where they are lacking. Okay, let me just say that. Wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
because
great.
you have to be wonderful.
You have
By
to
the time
be.
I leave with a splinter, come on.
Yeah, and you have to. Yeah,
You have to leave
make
with
it
a
up in some
splinter
way.
and an orgasm.
That's
okay.
right. Okay. All right. Listen. Fair enough. And as we know, usually the niggas, the hobosexuals, usually have the best D because they don't have much else.
Break down hobosexuals real quick.
Hobosexual are people that are fucking you in order to live with you.
Yeah.
They need a place to stay.
Yeah.
And so what they're considering to be paying rent is fucking you.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. They have
Great.
to be good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And generally it'll be like you walk through the door and they fall to their knees.
And let me tell you, the orgasm that you're going to get on the 30th of the month is unbelievable. You even pay that rent happy, okay?
Anyway,
Once in a lifetime. Don't do it twice.
Don't do it.
Once in a lifetime.
But you should experience it.
Just
It's,
for a story.
It's a good time. Okay, I think it's a red flag for me, myself personally, and it's the sleeping at the daughter's mother's house. It's too much. There's too much going on. I'm
trying to think why we ended. Because I did. Was that our last date? Oh.
There was some shady stuff going on.
Yeah.
I remember.
You see, these red flags always lead to something else.
They always come back. Anyway, so yes, I think that is a red flag.
Yeah.
So my red flag of the week, I have questions. There was a video recently about a woman, and the niggas online were saying that she was a big old red flag because she broke off an engagement without having a reason, air quotes.
Okay.
She said that she felt like even though he was a good guy and there was nothing wrong, she just felt like something was off or something was missing.
I saw the video.
Yeah. And so she was saying, if you go to a store and you need...
Don't have COVID.
If you go to a store and you're looking for a shoe and you see the perfect shoe, it's like the perfect color, the perfect style, and you take that shoe off the shelf and it's a size 7 and you wear a size 6, that doesn't take away from
The shoe.
the shoe. It just means that it's not your shoe.
Yeah.
And so all of the niggas on Twitter are like, she's a red flag, she shouldn't have got engaged to this man if she knew she didn't want to be. And to me, I guess my question is, because I've been in a similar situation, do you feel like it is valid to leave a situation if there is not a glaring red flag or something that you can point to that's like, this is what's wrong, this is why I can't be in it? If you just feel in your spirit that something is off, something is missing, or it's just not right for you, despite the person being a good human.
Yeah. I think we should normalize our intuition being a red flag.
Yeah.
I think we should normalize not the red flag. You know, we come on here and we tell these like fun, big stories, you know. But I actually think we need to start normalizing like, this just don't feel right. That is a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like he's cheating on me or he has a bunk bed in his studio. You know, I don't think it always has to be that way.
Yeah.
It's actually something that I've been working on thanks to a therapist about like, we write all these lists about what a person should be. Mm-hmm. I want my man to be 6 foot. I want my man to be 6 figures. I want my man to be da-da-da-da. and we actually disassociate from how we should feel. And so I think the more you're connected to, I want to feel da 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 da,
Yeah.
the red flag actually starts to become internal, and it don't have nothing to do with York. Yes, you may take me to the 5-star restaurant. Yes, you may tip well. Yes, you may do all these things, but internally, I just don't feel the way I want to feel.
Yeah.
And that is enough of a red flag. Because my thing is, actually, I think the red flag behavior is her continuing on being like,
Yes.
well, he's everything, so I'm going to just...
Because there's a pressure. There's also like a societal pressure. Listen, we getting old, all right? Like we getting up there, and the pickings are slim. There's piss in the dating pool. And so when you find somebody that's a good human and doesn't have any like huge glaring issues, I feel like society is like, oh, especially if they like see it. If people know that you're in a relationship, they're like, oh, y'all about to get married because it's like two people that aren't problematic and toxic. Like y'all should get married and like, but it's like, even if they're a good person, being a good person is the bare minimum and does not sustain a relationship. That does not mean that you should be together forever. There has to be some sort of feeling associated with the person being good that goes beyond, you know, just the run-of-the-mill, oh, I don't beat you or call you a hoe-ass nigga.
Yeah, because I feel like the people who are like, you should have stayed with him, it's still operating out of fear. You should have stayed with him because the dating pool is pissed.
Yeah.
You should stay with him because you don't know what's out here. I don't want nobody staying with me because the streets are for the dust. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you should want to be with me because you want to be with me, not because you're afraid of what's out there.
Exactly.
You know, and so I just feel like, if anything, the people commenting on that video, red flag.
Yeah, and I've done this like little experiment where if I interact with a married couple or a couple that seems happy, because not every married couple is happy.
Most.
I asked them like, if when you were dating in the beginning, did you feel like anything was missing or anything was off? And all of them that seem to be happy are like, no, everything was like great in the beginning. And then you deal with the issues as they come. But nobody is like, oh yeah, I kind of was like, oh, I don't know that this is it. There's something off. Everybody was like, this was great in the beginning.
See, and that's also something that I personally struggle with, because I feel like conflict is one of my green flags, how you deal with conflict, right? And so I think sometimes when there's no conflict in the beginning, which is, it seems, to your point, I've been around you when you've asked that question, is that like in the beginning it should be easy.
Yeah.
But for me, I get nervous. Like it actually like makes me, it's my own trauma, very well aware, that I'm like, oh, but how do you deal with conflict, right? And so I actually get more sucked into the people where I'm having conflict earlier, because I want to know how you deal with conflict.
Yes.
Because I think for me, just dealing with like past experiences where the way someone dealt with conflict was traumatic, you know, and like it's important for me to know that like even in conflict, you are who you say you are.
Yes.
And so unfortunately, I think sometimes for me, when it's all good, it actually like, I'm like, something must be wrong.
Well, I just want to clarify. When I say like all good, I don't mean the absence of conflict. Like I think what you're talking about is a part of things being really good and healthy. What I'm talking about is like a feeling, like a deep down sort of innate feeling that something is off, something is wrong. It doesn't mean that it's absent of like conflict or having to work through things. It's just sort of this present, like in the back of your mind, like, oh, I don't know, whatever. Every happy couple that I've talked to has not had that in the beginning.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
That's interesting. I kind of, I guess, in thinking about your relationships and mine, I have a question in terms of like, are there red flags that you feel like are applicable to you in a gay male relationship that aren't applicable to me in a heteronormative relationship, as someone who primarily dates black men.
Yeah. Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes red flags can be culturally specific.
Yes. That's an interesting question. I think for me, because there's a dynamic with gay men. I feel like gay men, we fight against hetero, normative ways of being, relating with each other. But it always shows up in some way or another. So, like, we associate masculinity with tops, and we associate femininity with bottoms. And, the verse niggas fall somewhere in between. But for me, it's a red flag when guys are sort of trying to force me into one of those categories or trying to relate to me in a way that I don't naturally relate. Like, I typically am drawn to more masculine energy. And I think as a human, I can be more masculine, but I'll do an 8 count of Beyonce choreography like that. Like, so there's some nuance there. But I think because I'm 6'2", and I got this baritone voice,
okay,
I think men sometimes associate me with being like hyper masculine. And so in dating, they're looking for me to fill that role. Like, there was a time, there was this guy that I was talking to, and he like came to my apartment. I looked through the peephole, and he had his little fitted hat on. I was like, oh, okay, looks good. And then we got into the apartment, and I could tell just by the energy that he was looking for me to be like this, like, masculine, take charge type of guy. And that's just not who I am all the time. Like, I can dip into that if I feel comfortable, but I typically don't. That's not what I lead with.
Yeah.
And I remember him being like cuddling up to me on the couch, and we both sitting there like kind of awkward. And then he was like, put your arm around me. And I was like, I mean, okay. And he was like, you're not good at this. I was like, cause we don't, like, this is not how I operate. So to me, it's a red flag when somebody is trying to force me into a box that I don't live in.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Are there red flags that I bring up sometimes that you're like, that doesn't relate to me?
I think when it comes down to like going out on dates and who should pay and that kind of stuff is so like nebulous. Like, I feel like a lot of times I end up paying for dates.
I don't know if I've said this on this podcast. If I pay for the date, I don't never want to see you. Have I said that on the podcast?
I don't think so, but
if you take me out on a date and I'd be like, let me get it, it means I don't never want to see you again.
Yeah, it's such an interesting thing about like dynamics in relationships. And, are you the person that is the caretaker, or are you the person that likes to be taken care of? And like for somebody like me, I like to go back and forth in all the ways. So it's it's hard to like meet people, especially on like dating apps. That kind of shit is hard to gauge just based on like pictures and like a voice note of what. Side note, you niggas on Hinge, when y'all are responding to the voice note and it says, the prompt is, what's the biggest risk you've ever taken? And you say you dropped everything and moved to LA. Oh. So has everyone else that lives in LA.
Also,
can we do something
as
original?
Someone who left from an entire different continent, it's just so unimpressive.
It's
you
not.
was leaving from Santa Barbara or the Bay. I'm sorry. As someone who packed up from Uganda, unimpressed.
We need something original, please,
so many people
God.
say that.
Why?
I packed up and went to LA. Okay.
Nobody cares, Jesus.
Yes, nobody. We need to do a whole episode on Hinge red flag.
We do. Anyway.
Because I can't stand the apps. York almost made me get back on there.
I was on there for 2 days.
2 days.
Total. And then
after trying to tell me to get back on.
Because the thing is, the thing about Hinge is like you'll get on there And the first couple men will be gorgeous, like fine.
But you know they do that on purpose.
I know. But the thing is, those men run out so quick. And then there's a middle ground. And this is the interesting thing. You ever thought about where you fall in this hierarchy on other people's profiles? Are you in the fine?
No,
or are you in the middle ground? Or
no, I know.
What do you mean you know?
Hinge puts black women at the bottom.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's based on desirability.
It's based on desirability.
White men.
Yes. Not white men, just everyone. Like, black men typically swipe more on white women. Yeah, so black women and Asian men, we need our own app. I used to think I would create an app for black women and Asian men called Second Pick. Another chance at swiping.
Listen.
Yeah. So I know I'm not there, but yeah. Mm. Well, it's the time where we. Can you believe?
Are we done?
No, we got 10 minutes.
Oh wow. Okay. It flies.
I got feedback that we don't give enough time to the Instagram peeps.
Okay. All right.
And that's because in the beginning y'all weren't answering. Y'all didn't rate us. But now that you rate us, we got a lot. Okay. Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so I asked people to send in their red flags, and we're gonna rate it with this flagometer.
Got it.
He only gets vulnerable after sex. Otherwise, he's very reserved. I find this very interesting because usually it's the opposite.
Before sex?
I find that men, we've talked about this a little bit. Sometimes after sex, there's like a switch off.
Yeah.
It's just like post-nut clarity, I guess.
Ooh, yeah, that's real.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like, it's like the porn, like where you're like, oh, get this shit off my laptop.
Yeah.
I find men to be more vulnerable pre-sex than post-sex.
Interesting. I feel like I understand the post-sex because you've just had this really intimate sort of moment. You've had a high, you've come down from it, and you're sort of basking it. I don't know what chemicals, serotonin, whatever it is, serotonin. Is that it?
Yeah, it is.
That is secreted in the brain.
Yes.
That makes you feel close to the other person. That makes sense. But that's a pink flag to me.
I don't think it's a red flag or a pink flag.
Really?
I don't, because I just think vulnerability is a tricky thing because you don't know why someone's closed off or reserved.
Sure.
And so if they're willing to get vulnerable after sex, now if they were vulnerable only when they drink, that's a different thing. But if they're only vulnerable after sex, to me, that shows me that there's like a fear there. I don't know that it's a red flag.
I was gonna say pink. To me, it's a pink flag because it signifies that maybe you can be vulnerable, but if you can't push past only being vulnerable after sex, most of the time we're not having. Like if I have to count on, I have to fuck you to get you to talk about the issues that are going on between us. That's an issue.
To me, I guess we don't have enough facts, so I don't know how long they've been at it. Mm-hmm. But to me, it would just show me like, okay, you need some help. Like, you see, this is how I land in red flags. I'm like, I can fix you. Yeah. Okay, we've agreed. Pink flag.
Okay.
Ooh, good one. Friends that are close with people that hurt you. How red is that? We've had a bit of that situation, you and I, once.
Friends that are close.
Yeah. We had a conversation once. I was hurt that York took the side of someone who hurt me. But
I don't remember what that was.
Yeah, clearly. Afterwards. You and I haven't really had a lot of conflict in our lives. Yeah.
We'll talk about that after.
Yeah. It's tricksy.
It is, because on the one hand, it's like everybody's an adult here.
Yeah.
Like, let's not be petty. But on the other hand, I feel like there's a middle ground. I feel like there's like I respect it. It also depends who it. So the friend. Like who are you closest to?
Friends that are close with people that hurt you. We don't have those facts. But for my sake, I feel like let's use you and I. Mm-hmm. Let's say Latifah did something to me.
Uh-huh.
and I come to you and I say like, "Oh, Latifah's a mutual friend. She's
Yes.
done nothing to me."
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're like, "Oh, going to New York, going to see to Latifah." That's what that feels like.
Oh.
It's tricksy. I think we're adults.
Yeah. At that point,
Everyone has their own relationship.
and if it's your friends beforehand, before this event, like
Yeah.
it's a different thing if like somebody's hurt someone and then you meet them and like, oh, we're besties now. It's like, but you.
Yeah.
you
But
have
it
that
is hard.
information.
I won't lie. Like being in the position where you're like seeing a friend be with friends with someone that has hurt you deeply. There's it's a little hard. I've been in that position multiple times actually, where I'm like, but I also know enough to know that it's my issue. It's not their issue. I know enough to know like this is hard because someone I love has a different relationship with someone that's hurt me. But here's the thing. I have been friends with people that have hurt other people that are my friends. And I'm very clear, like, you know, your relationship is different because when y'all talk, and sort your shit out, now I'm the one who is like, how do I start being like, I'm bad, you know? But like, y'all can have a whole conversation, oh, we misagreed. But me, I'm like,
Yeah.
so, you know, like, nah. And
Yeah.
I just count on most people to make it up. Like, I've had, like, situations where I've made up with people I haven't talked to in 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we grow.
We grow.
Yeah. All right. Last one. If you ask what he does... Oh, before. Second to last one.
Okay.
Stalking your ex 2 years into your next relationship.
Yo.
Trixie, as someone who loves to stalk, let me report myself. Purely because I'm a writer, I like to know where the story ends, okay? So I'm curious as to, like, what did that character do? Because when they branched off from my life, you looking at me like,
I'm curious as to what I was. Yeah, go ahead.
you don't believe me.
No, I'm listening.
York,
I'm just listening.
as a fellow writer, I don't appreciate this. Back to my spiel. I just feel like I'm just curious. Sometimes I don't want you back. It's just York. I really don't. You know I don't.
I know.
You
I'm
know
just
the
looking
people
at-
I stalk. I don't want them back.
I know. I am simply looking at you.
They're-
I'm listening.
I only don't stalk. To be honest, I stalk 80% of my exes. The only people I don't stalk is the people I cannot literally stand.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. But others, if I don't mind you as a human, I just want to know, okay, what happened? Where did you go? Who did you be with? That project you told me about, did it happen? I'm curious.
You know what this made me think of? This is kind of not the same thing. But like if you're in a new relationship, do you delete or not look at the nudes of your exes?
I don't.
You don't delete or
I don't. No. I didn't say all that. I don't look.
okay. Me
Yeah,
neither.
I also don't get much out of nudes, to be honest.
No, I do.
I enjoy sending cropped. But I don't get much out of receiving nudes.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's one of my favorite things.
I'm audio. I'm all about the
I'm
audio.
also, listen, that's a whole nother, see, we're about to get to a whole other thing.
Yep,
Anyway.
Yep.
Okay, what's the last one?
Then the last one is if you ask what he does for work and he says, I am in between things.
That's pink. It's pink.
Why?
It depends on what you do. If you're like an actor and you're in between things, and it's like,
Yeah, I
okay,
guess as artists, we're just like, it is what it is.
I am currently in between things.
You know, so am I. I am in
So,
between a strike and a strike.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. But if you're not an artist,
yeah, I don't know. That seems
yeah.
questionable.
All right. Lastly, to end, green flag of the week.
My green flag of the week is someone who takes initiative, someone who plans things.
Oof, I love a planner.
Someone who doesn't need to ask you how to give you the thing that would be thoughtful or nice for you to experience? That's my green flag.
It's related to my green flag. My green flag is a slick listener. I tell you a story in date number 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Date number 3, you bring me a small little gift that costs you $2.
Yeah.
That I mentioned.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I like it. We're giving you the blueprint, people.
Listen.
We're giving you.
All things are coming off that nice. Okay. Thank y'all so much for another episode.
Yeah.
Please like, share. Please
Tell a friend.
Yeah. Post it on your story, our clips.
Yeah.
Something.
We need money.
Striking. If you love your fellow shows, Scandal, we didn't work on it. Grey's Anatomy, we didn't work on it, but it doesn't matter. Whatever show you like,
Yes.
just pretend we were in your room.
Yes.
And now we're subjected to being podcast, so share and like and subscribe
Yes.
and avoid a red flag.
Come on.
Bye.
Bye.